I guess I'll ask one question, though, on full preterism for everyone on the panel. If you had any opinions, I rejected. I'm a partial preterist. I don't know if you guys, though.
Yeah, heretical and evil and, just no. And unbiblical. It should be rejected for good reasons. So.
You be careful, Eric. You're going to get long emails of them sending you charts.
Those people are the worst.
You think it's evil? Let me prove you I'm right with my charts.
They're as bad as the biblical Unitarians. So, well, no, but they're worse. Let's put it that way. If you could possibly be worse, they're probably worse.
All right. I think we got through all the super...
Let's talk about the heretical, evil and unbiblical. A few examples of heresy might be child and wife murdering Constantine's Christianization, where he enacted policies that suppressed non-Christians and dissenting Christians. Eusebius would call this the kingdom of God on earth. This would lead the way to the Theodosian persecutions, the forceful purging of pagans and non-Christians, murdering their priests and worshippers. We have the Council of Nicaea then formalising these disinformation trials and struggle sessions. From these early years of Christendom, the hellish carnage only scales up and up and up. You've got the massacre of Béziers, where Abbot Almeric famously said, "Kill them all, God will know his own." You've got the murder of William Tyndale for translating the Bible into English. You've got the Inquisitions, which brought murder and torture for hundreds and hundreds of years from the 12th to the 19th century. You've got the 30 Years' War, a devastating European conflict between Protestants and Catholics. You've got colonial conquest and forced conversions. You've got the Indulgences controversy. And then you've got child molestation, which from 1950 to 2002 was well over 100,000 children. How about that for heresy? How does that square with Matthew 5, where whoever is angry with his brother is equated to a murderer, and love your enemy is the Christ-taught disposition towards opposition? Evil. The aforementioned heresies are a small sample from mainstream Christian history. They present us with 10 to 20 million deaths and 100,000 children molested from 1950 to 2002 only. Catholicism doesn't carry the full burden here. If you add Protestantism, those sexual abuses rise. Of course, they should be in the negative because we should be rescuing them from such evil. Now consider Revelation 1-3, where we have on record Jesus judging churches, where he threatens to spit out a mild church, a lukewarm church. How would Jesus just stop and think? Really stop and think. How would Jesus speak of this Christian history that you so proudly inherit the authority and power of correctness from? How would he speak about such evil? 20 million dead, 100,000 sexually molested children in just a 50-year window of study. How would Jesus speak about this so-called Christian history that you so proudly boast to be a party to and the inheritor of? This tradition that you claim and you seek authority from. Bear in mind, Jesus did not cherry pick with a lukewarm church, but you who claim to inherit the authority and legitimacy of this mainstream, you bathe in its tributaries and in the rivers of this ice, cold, dead water. Again, for the hard of hearing, Jesus did not identify the good from the Laodicean church, from this lukewarm church. Indeed, he threatened to spit it out on a measure of corruption. But you, O futurist, would claim authority not from God, but from the inheritance of the murderous and the rapacious tradition. You would swallow far more chilling stuff. Unbiblical. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. You shall not finish going through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. The age about to come. There are some standing here who shall not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom, to show his bondservants the things which must shortly come to pass. My favourite is a study of Matthew 23, 31, 36 and Revelation 6, 10. Fill up then the measure of your father's guilt, that on you may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth. Assuredly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. And then in Revelation 6, how long, O Lord, holy and true, until you judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth? All righteous blood shed on the earth was to be avenged on that generation. Indeed, a little while they've to hold on for until the number killed is complete. In other words, filling up the measure of the Father's guilt. In Luke 21:8, Jesus says those who follow after people who say the time is near when it's not should stop, because they're following false prophets. You want to talk about biblical? If you valued the words of Jesus, you would tear out most of the New Testament, because Christ condemns them as false prophets. 1 Peter 4:7, the end of all things is at hand. 1 John 2:18, it is the last hour. Romans 13:11, salvation nearer than we first believed, the night is almost finished. But not me. I don't need to tear out these words. I don't need to find these people false prophets, not the full preterists, because we believe Jesus and make the interpretation conform to his words. And when you do that, you'll find that the truth becomes self-evident. You futurists mock the obvious intention of Jesus' words and fabricate bizarre interpretations to create noise sufficient to drown out the cognitive dissonance. If it's heresy, evil and unbiblical stuff you're smelling, you need only notice what your much lauded mainstream has been cooking. That is the authority upon which you stand and find your validation. How about instead of vilifying good-natured students of the Bible and disciples of Christ, you love your enemies, you practice grace and humility, and you have confidence in God fulfilling his prophecies. Jesus returned in the 1st century because Jesus said so.